good to be with you once again. Good to see you and to share with you. This week, a fellow who joined us here at Satsang a couple of times left his body. Some people have a few diseases. Some of you are very healthy. So what we'll do tonight is talk about health, sickness, and death. We have to remember that these things are for the relative world. A being who has transcended the world has absolutely nothing to do with death, or health, or sickness. Yet you hear so many stories about different saints who seem to have died horribly. People like Christ, Milarepa, Ramakrishna, and our beloved Ramana Maharshi. They seem to have died horrible deaths. What's going on? These people were healers, apparently. Ramana Maharshi, Ramakrishna, Milarepa were not healers per se, but by people being in their presence. Hundreds, thousands of people appear to have been healed. Yet these people died these horrendous, horrible, dastardly deaths. Well, there is one school of thought that tells you if the sage takes on the evil karma of the devotees, I do not agree with this. The sage has absolutely nothing in him or her to take on anything. There has to be a taker. There has to be a part of the sage that is still active in this world in order to take on the evil karma of somebody else. And since karma does not exist, evil does not exist, how is it possible for this to happen? This is a story that's sometimes told. Perhaps some yogis have taken this on themselves. They have transferred the disease to their own body. Perhaps they can do this. But as a rule, sages never do anything like this. The actual reality of the jnani is this. There is health and sickness, disillusion and regeneration, good and bad. This all has to be transcended. Instead of trying to bring health to a sick person, proper action would be to transcend both health and sickness. For one leads to the other. Who is healthy and who is sick? The ego. If the ego goes, where can there be sickness or health? there is only sickness and health because the mind or the ego seems to be active. We have people in this world like Joel Goldsmith, who most of you have heard of, who was a healer. He healed thousands of people in his day. There was a place for this. His method was to sit in silence with his client, not say anything. The person would be healed. The way he worked is he had a strong consciousness of the fact that God expresses as the earth, as the flowers, as the trees, as human beings, as animals. There is only God. And God is absolute perfection. Therefore, if there is only God as absolute perfection, where does sickness come from? This is the method he used. But he worked in the silence. He would never acknowledge a disease as having any validity. In other words, he would not try to remove the disease. For to remove a disease simply means that you've got a disease. The truth is, there is no disease. There is only God. And a real true sage never works with things like this. Ramana Maharshi never taught his devotees to heal. When they asked him about his disease that he had in his body, he remarked, the body itself is a disease. Which is true. Think how ridiculous healing is to begin with. If a person is healed of a disease, it doesn't mean he's going to live forever anyway. Most of the people who were healed reverted back to their disease after a while. Some didn't. So they lived 5 more years on this earth, and they had to drop their body also. When you look at it this way, isn't healing a waste of time? When you can use that energy to become self-realized. You can use that energy to work on yourself, to awaken to reality. And then you wouldn't care less whether it is health or disease, death or birth. Those things wouldn't matter at all. Sage does not belong to this world or to the universe. Therefore, a sage has not become interested in healing. For this would put a sage on the plane of relativity. We will not judge who is a sage or who is not. But the fact remains, in Advaita Vedanta, we do not try to heal people. By your very presence, healings may take place just by being. This is why it's so important to work on yourself. Transcend your body in the world. Going beyond health, sickness, wealth, poverty, good and bad. Going beyond duality. And come into the place where there is ultimate oneness, where you have become pure being. Yet people still observe the horrendous conditions that Ramakrishna, Ramana Maharshi, and the rest of these people went through. Evil is in the eyes of the observer. In other words, you see this yourself. You're seeing yourself where you are at this time in your point of evolution. When you look at a person dying, when you look at a person with problems, the sage does not have this problem. The sage who appears to be dying from a disease is not doing this. There is nobody left to have this problem. And we can't even say this is the sage's body going through this. This is not the sage. For the sage will explain to you and tell you he has no body. There is no body that suffers. There is no body that has a problem. There is nobody who goes through any situation in this world. And again you say, well, I see this thing. Catch yourself and realize what you're saying. I see this. It's the I thought that sees this. As we evolve on this path, we have to learn to catch ourselves when we talk. Not just babble and keep talking and talking. Talk less and try to remember the words. You say, I saw this, so it must be true. The I you're referring to is the ego. The I thought. The mind. It is the mind that sees sickness and death and comes to the conclusion, this is horrible, this is terrible. When you begin to realize the mind does not exist, when you begin to see the ego does not exist, and there is no one who sees anything or feels anything or has any problems. You have to work that out with yourself. Always catch the I in action. Even if you feel pretty bad, even if you feel terrible about yourself, or about somebody else, or about the world. Try to realize who it is who feels this way. It is not you. Your real nature is pure awareness. It is something that feels like you, something that appears like you, something that appears so real that you will not deny it. But when you're suffering, when you've got this pain, this sickness, this disease, or somebody else has it, you see it, you hear it, turn the other way, begin to feel your Buddha nature. Realize that you are no mind. In other words, there is no mind that has the power to cause any problems in your life. It is you who gave birth to the ego, to the mind, and to your thoughts. What you is this? Who are you? Always be aware of this. Let your body do what it will. Do not interfere with it. Just be yourself, the self that is pure, bright, and shining. Yet do not fool yourself. If you feel that you can't handle it, then you have to go to a doctor. Know the truth and do what you have to do to take care of yourself. There are many Christian scientists who drop dead every day because they will not go to a doctor. It is true that if you understand Christian Science, you'll be able to heal yourself and others. Yet there are very few people who have that high consciousness. Do not worry about yourself or fret about yourself. Do not feel guilty if you have to see a doctor. Do not feel as if you're doing something wrong, as if you're committing a spiritual sin if you go to a doctor or a chiropractor or anything else. You're playing the game. You're living the mortal dream, and you're doing whatever has to happen. Whatever you have to go through, do it happily. Do not judge it or think about it or analyze it. Just do it. Just like eating. When you eat, you do not analyze your food. You do not judge your food. You simply eat. And so it is with your health. If you feel something is wrong and you cannot handle it spiritually, go to a doctor. This is all on the relative plane. Talking to you about these things because many of you have called me and told me about a problem you may have, and you really refuse to get medical attention for this problem. You want to be healed spiritually, naturally. You have to remember everything is spiritual. That is the thing that many of you forget. You separate things. Separate things into categories. If you act spontaneously and you live in the here and now, then you will know what to do. You do not plan anything. You break your finger, you go to a doctor. You don't think about it. The doctor sets your finger in a cast and everything is okay. There is nothing to think about. There is nothing to worry about. There's nothing to concern yourself about. You just do it. This is true of everything in your life. If you wake every morning, you realize the truth about yourself. That you are absolute reality. Pure awareness. Nirvana. Ultimate oneness. This will begin your day. And you take it from there, doing whatever has to be done. The problem with some of you is that you think too much about these things. You analyze what is going on in your life. You worry about them, you fret about them. Whereas in truth, you just let go and do what you have to do. In reality, there is absolutely nothing wrong. Everything is perfect and good. And the reality is here and now. This is the reality. This is where some of you become confused. When I say this is the reality, and you're feeling your human, you're feeling your pain, your stress, whatever you are feeling, you say, how can this be the reality? I feel lousy. I feel this, I feel that. You only feel bad when you think about it. Follow this closely. If you begin to live in the split second that I talked to you about, in the moment, you will not feel bad. If you begin to live in the absolute moment, you are absolute reality, pure awareness. In that moment, you feel wonderful. And that moment turns into another moment. Into another moment. Into another moment. This is what I mean when I say everything is in its right place. Everything is unfolding as it should. You are perfect now. You are perfect now. Not in your thoughts, and you begin to think about this. You are perfect right now. Right now. There is absolutely nothing wrong with you right now. Everything is in its right place right now. When you begin to talk about it, when you begin to think about it, when you begin to analyze it, something else comes in. Like a mirage. The water in the mirage appears to be real. As soon as you try to grab it, it becomes sand. Your disease, your sickness, your depression, your stress, even your happiness, and all the things that are going on in your life. All the things in the world that make you happy are like the mirage, like the water in the mirage. If you really try to grab it, it doesn't exist. When I say when you try to grab it, I mean when you try to live in that moment, in that split second. In that split second, there is only God. There is no room for thoughts, no room for anything else. The moment you begin to think, you spoil it. You become human once again. This is the reason you were given self-inquiry. For self-inquiry is beautiful for things like this. You begin to see that I is sick. That I has the problem. I is the one that is giving you the problems. Who is I? You have to catch yourself. Always catch yourself. When you say there is no sickness, there is no disease, this is the truth. But for whom is there no disease? For the one who knows the truth, lives in the truth, and is the truth. This is why people like Christ, Krishna, Ramakrishna, Ramana Maharshi, Milarepa, and many others appear to have been suffering. Yet in truth, no one ever suffered. No one ever died. For no one ever lived. Try to understand this. Your true nature is spirit. Yet for some strange reason you've taken on this form, what you call a body that is born. While you were being born, you were still the self. The self doesn't come into the birth. People ask the silly question, when does the soul come into the body? The 3rd month, the 4th month, the 6th month. Try to understand this teaching. There is no soul that comes into anybody. You have always existed. The self is the self. When you take on the body, you're still the self. As the body grows through experiences, you are still the self. As the body appears to go through diseases, illnesses, situations in this world, you are still the self. The body gets old and seems to die. You are the same self that existed before you were born. It's like a chalkboard. The chalkboard exists, and you draw your baby being born on the chalkboard. Then you draw a picture of a baby growing up. Then you draw a picture of the baby having cancer when he becomes a man or a woman. Then you draw a picture of the person dying. From the very beginning, the chalkboard was there. The chalkboard was always there. Pictures were different, but the chalkboard was always there. In reality, you are like the chalkboard. You are the self, pure intelligence. The self can never die and was never born. There is no disease that can affect it. It is all pervading, and you are that. You have to begin to feel this. You have to let go of the clinging to the body. By letting go, I mean, do not feel that you are being persecuted, that something is wrong with you, that you have sickness or disease. I always try to understand when this happens to you. Who has these things? The image on the chalkboard. It is the image that has these problems, not you. You are totally free. You have always been free. You will always be free. There never was a time when you were not free. So it's wrong identification. Identify with the reality. Let's say, for instance, you have a hernia. You go to the doctor. There's nothing wrong with going to the doctor. There's nothing wrong with this at all. The doctor tells you what you have to do to correct the hernia. All the time you realize you are not the body. You are not the image on the chalkboard. You are the pure self. But yet, you go through the hernia operation. You don't think about it. You don't argue about it. You've done whatever has to be done. The body appears to be in good shape again. All the time you realize that nothing happened. There was no one who went through this experience. This is how you should look at your everyday affairs. Look at your home life. Look at the world. Look at what is happening in the world the same way. Images. Everything is images. The light of the self appears to cause these images to take form and to do whatever they have to do. But there is only the self. This is the reality. And the images do not even exist. We don't even say they appear to exist. When you think they appear to exist, you're giving them value. You're giving them power. You're believing in them as if they were reality. So you have to ask the question, to whom do they exist? They exist to me. I feel them. As soon as you say this to yourself, immediately the answer should come to you. It is the I thought, that feels the images, not you. You are free and clear. You have absolutely nothing to do with the I thought. Now when you have done this, you have separated the disease, the problems, where they may seem to be, from yourself, haven't you? Because the I thought is out here someplace and has nothing to do with you. The I thought feels sickness, feels a headache. Feels when something good happens and you're happy in this world. That is all the I thought. So you just watch, you observe. Well, after all, who has the pain? The I thought, not you. Therefore, look at yourself as two separate entities. This will help. Look at yourself as the I thought, which goes through the world and has all kinds of experiences in the world, good and bad, rich and poor, sick and healthy. And the self, which is absolute reality and is free and clear of everything. This simply means that what you call sickness or disease or a problem is outside of your jurisdiction. It appears to exist by itself, but it is not you. You have absolutely nothing to do with these things. Do not judge by appearances. Do not try to analyze or figure it out, for you get deeply involved when you do this. Even discussing this is not right. This is between you and yourself. There's absolutely nothing to discuss. Nothing to talk about. You remember the chalkboard analogy? And you realize that you've always been, and you always will be. There never was a time when you were not. And these other things were simply images that seem to be superimposed on the self. But do not identify with the disease itself. not identify with the problem or whatever. Rather identify with the self, with the one that has always been. I am that. It's not really hard. As you go through everyday experiences, always catch yourself. Always catch yourself thinking. Catch yourself worrying. Being afraid. And immediately understand that you are the chalkboard. You are the absolute reality that has never changed. It has always been and will always be. You are perfect.